Alright, here's a pretty cool neck stretch. It's actually stretching 3 different areas at the same time in the same position. So I'm going to run through this one by one. So firstly, you've got to make sure you anchor your hand onto a table. And if I show you, so see Nathan's got his hand anchored there, right? So first thing he's got to do is he's going to anchor that hand, and then he's going to lean. Alright, so see how he leans to the right there? So he sort of wants to lean so that that hand is really pulling tight, because that hand now becomes an anchor point. So it's pulling down, so meaning that we're pulling the neck muscle away from the head. So we're already creating a stretch effect just from this and him leaning over. Alright, so that's the first thing you've got to do. Second thing is what he's going to do now is he's going to do a lateral neck stretch. So lateral means sideways, so now we're just stretching through this part of his neck here. So he's pulling that way with his hand and this way with his other hand. Alright, now the next one he's going to do is a Levator scap stretch. This is where eyes are going to look to his armpit, his hand is going to grab the top of his head. This hand is still anchored, so we're pulling all of this way. This hand is pulling it that way. See how we're getting this big stretching effect from pulling both directions? Where you'll feel this is the muscle right at the back of the head there, that goes right down deep into the middle of your back there. Very, very painful muscle at times for many people. All right, so this is the Levator scap stretch. Try to hold most of these stretches for 15 to 30 seconds. Work best later in the day. Now this last one is probably the hardest one of the 3. All right, so now all he has to do, he doesn't really need his top hand for anything on this one. All he has to do is turn his head to look up to the roof while he's still leaning and pulling onto that chair there. So he's still leaning sideways. Now the stretch will just come from him turning his head, because it's actually pulling the muscle around him like so. Right? This one it's deceptively hard. One that sort of most people feel the most is the big upper trap stretch, this one. Right, you can see him stretching it there. All right, so that's a great way to do 3 neck stretches at the same time. Use it in the office if you want. Use it at the end of the day. Understand though that if you have a lot of neck tension, it's most likely going to be driven by instability and poor muscle imbalance and postural control that will be fixed better with exercise than stretching. So many people devoting time to stretching when there's no point to it if you don't actually follow the corrective exercises to strengthen the weaker muscles that aren't putting you in the right position in the first place. All right, so if you want more information on that, go to our website and you'll find there's stacks of things and pre-reports and advanced versions that will go through all of the different things you need to follow up after this stretch. All right, so hope you've enjoyed that. I'll see you on our next video.